What's up, guys? It's another episode of Off the Post, and I'm your host, DJ Redcap. And we will not be talking about Liverpool today, but we will be talking about other teams, including your USWNT national team and maybe a little bit of Germany if we feel like discussing them or what they tried to do out in the field. We'll see how we feel about them today. But first, as always, let's go around and talk to each of the panelists, see how they're doing, and I'll tell you some cool stuff that's coming up this week or the next month. Yes, it's the next month that we'll be coming up with Off the Post. So let's start with Jen Carl. How have you been doing, Jen Carl?
It's been a week. Um, I'm, I'm going to be 110% honest right here because we have a whole show ahead of us. I just got discharged from the hospital yesterday, so I'm only partially coherent, but I'm here. We got this.
Haven't we all been just discharged from the hospital somewhere?
Maybe like mentally, but like she's talking about literally.
Maybe mentally. All right. Danielle, what have you been up to other than work?
Just got back from Nashville. Saw, the France game, and I'm not quite sick enough to go to the hospital, but I've been sick as well, so it's going great, and I'm probably only a little more coherent than Jen right now.
All right, so it sounds like nobody is doing well at this point. Hopefully Courtney can change that around. How have you been,
I
Courtney?
need something to knock on that's wood. I'm knocking on my chair. It's funny because right before we went on air, I was just text Jen. I was like, "Was your illness? Are you contagious?" Like just thinking about like my own like health and well-being, and I was like, but I'm feeling okay, thankfully. So, knock on wood. I think we're okay. But no, not much has been going on. I don't know. I know we plugged it on the website, like on the Twitter, stuff like that. But I may have mentioned recently I did a little interview with the Women's World Football Show that came out, part of a really good episode they had on Sunday. So that's really kind of what I've been up to. Just wanted to shout out. They said a lot of nice things about Off the Post, so I just wanted to return the favor. They're a really awesome show. So if you don't know who they are, you should check them out. Their Twitter is and website's like WWF show. So that's kind of all I've been up to. Was just talking a little bit about the Flash. I know we're going to have our own spotlight, so I'll probably go a little bit more in detail then. But it was a nice little chat with them, and they're good folk, and hopefully we'll be able to have them on sometime. But yeah.
No, that was nice that they actually did that for you. I've noticed the episode kind of right after that, it was like high viewership. So I was like, wow, that little plug actually helped us out. Maybe more shows should plug us. No, but that was cool. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check out Courtney's section, or even check out the whole show. You might actually like
Yeah, the
that
whole
show
show's
too.
great.
Check out Courtney's section. But other than that, yes, spotlights. This is what I have to tell you. We're starting our spotlights for over the next month. The first one we're going to start with is naturally Portland because we want to get the most viewers in as possible, and then we're going to try to keep you in by giving you away free stuff. So the Portland spotlight is this Sunday, so be sure to tune in for that. And then if you like the other teams too, then I guess you can wait around for your favorite team spotlight. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Oh yeah, everyone's favorite team is Orlando now, so Portland Spotlight's not going to have as many fans.
Falls.
And we'll discuss that during Spotlight. See, so shall we get the show started? Shall we get the show
Yeah.
started? Okay, I'll start talking. What are we talking about now? Expectations going into the Germany game. Sorry, my notes were not up. I was too busy worried about the spotlight. Courtney, will you start us off?
Yeah, I mean, I think actually my expectations were completely defied by the surprising moves of Jill Ellis because I honestly was like, okay, great, we've seen the same players both games, very little subs. I was like, watch, she's going to play them all against Germany too. Just kidding, she changed her lineups like a lot, and I was like, who are all these people that are playing? Because we haven't seen them like forever. Like, oh my gosh, they do exist. So that was, I guess, that was not an expectation that I had. I thought we were going to see a lot of the same players. I thought we were going to see like the first two games were like really concerning in the sense of like, oh my God, what is the U.S. do? Like, what are we doing? Like, are we going to score? Are we going to win? Like, what's happening? So I was anticipating more of a tense, like nervous game, and there were some times that there was, but I mean, obviously my expectations weren't different than what actually happened because she played a whole new lineup essentially, and I wasn't really like the last like 10 minutes I think of the game were like very nervous for me. Like, oh my God, are they going to equalize? What's going on? But overall, like it was probably I think the least nerve-wracking game, which was not what I was expecting. So very different. My expectations for once were very different than what actually happened in the game.
Danielle, what were your thoughts?
Well, I knew it was going to be a hard-fought game. Like Courtney said, I expected it to be the exact same lineup. So, hearing that, Krieg's got to start Whitney Engen.
Right.
When was the last time we saw Whit on the field? Both Dunn and Press starting. I did not expect that at all. I liked that. But I also, at the same point, maybe would have liked to see a different goalkeeper, put a Nair or Harris in there if you're going for the experimental lineup. Because what's the point of having, a tournament if you can't get Harris or Nair some minutes? But I digress. Yeah. So,
Amen to that.
So yeah, I expected it to be tough. I feel like it was a good game though.
I guess I have to say something real quick. I don't understand why doesn't she play Nair or Harris any? I mean, I just want to see him at least give him a half maybe or something. I just want to see him play. It's weird. They get call-ups, but I don't know. It's always it seems like it's been like this for a lot. Most of the time, the backup keeper just will not play. So.
Unless it's against Puerto Rico.
Right. And Jen, your thoughts on your expectations going into this game?
I don't know that I really had any expectations, and that sounds terrible. Not to sound terrible. It's not that I wasn't expecting anything from the team. I just didn't really know what to expect, and my lack of expectation ended up being correct, I guess. So that's weird. But yeah, no, I figured it was going to be a rough game. Going back to the semifinal of the World Cup. Granted, they're two entirely different teams, but they've always been very strong opponents with each other. So I figured it wasn't going to be, an easy victory. I expected us to win. We're on home soil, sort of soil. That field looked like I don't even know what, but we'll get into that later. Regardless, I figured we were going to win, but I knew it wasn't going to come easily, and it really didn't. So I guess that expectation was correct, but otherwise I kind of went into the game without having any expectations, which played out very well. So it was fun. It was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I think I went into it just thinking we were going to win too, but it's always weird with Germany. I always expect a better game out of them because I see all the names, and I'm like, oh, these, they got so many good players. They should play us real tough. But it's just for some reason, I think I got my hopes up, but then I was still but I know it's Germany, and for some reason we always find a way to beat them. They always, don't play up to how I expect them to play. I think I just view them as so much better, a real tough opponent a lot of times, I guess, because I think back to the whole time where it was, I think that 3-3 game a couple years ago where I think we went up 3 and then they came back, but I mean, that was on their home field, I believe, so I mean, it's always different when they come over here. They usually lose and stuff, and well, we'll talk about that a little bit later, how my expectations changed a bit during the game of how Germany view Germany as well. But we could jump into the first half, and we'll start with you, Jen. Your thoughts on the first half?
It was weird right off the bat just because of the lineup. You could see where the weak spots were right away, and I think a lot of that was just, Whitney Engen. She's a great player, but she hasn't played. Same thing with Mewis. Mewis was really shaky for me in the beginning, and I think that was just rust. I think it was her trying to get back into it and shake some things off, which thankfully she did. Our defense just was not cohesive at all, and we saw that. You see Anya Mittag with the ball, and you're like, okay, well, there we go. And even Hope Solo, I don't think, expected a shot like that. I mean, she'd go for it, but I don't think she was expecting the kind of shot that was taken. Thankfully, Alex Morgan could capitalize, and Samantha Mewis came back and capitalized a little bit later in the first half as well. But we weren't playing cohesively, and that was a big problem. It looked like a whole bunch of individual players running around like chickens with their heads cut off, and it made me a little bit nervous. Especially looking at that back line where we're used to seeing such a solid line with Kling, Krieger, JJ, and Brune, and I think they were very exposed. We could see the exposure in certain players. Not to throw out any names in particular, but I'm going to, like Kling.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
Same.
Who I don't think Kling's a bad player, but like as much as she has the skill to take away the ball from other players, but as often as she took it away from other players, she gave it back to them. So I think she just needs to work on her follow through a little bit more and get rid of the freaking ball when she has it. Other than that, like our midfield, same thing. They just weren't working cohesively. And again, I think that was partly because Mewis was kind of trying to find her footing in there. I did like her in there. This is probably gonna, there are a lot of people on the Haran train that are probably gonna jump on me for this, but I did like Mewis in there a little bit better. I don't know why. I just like her in that role. I think she has a little bit more speed, and she's able to utilize that. But yeah, overall, it was definitely an interesting first half. It was really fun to watch. I thought it was a more fun half than the second half just because there was a lot going on. We didn't know what was going to happen next. There were things flying everywhere, players flying everywhere, balls flying everywhere. Yeah, it was a good time. So that's kind of where I was at with the first half.
Danielle, your thoughts on the first half?
I mean, I think Jen covered pretty much all of it. It was exciting. I enjoyed watching it. Obviously, I think that there are some chemistry issues, but I can't complain about chemistry issues if I complain about wanting to see new players on the field. That's what you get, and that's okay because it's a glorified friendly. So this is the time to do that against, the number 2 team in the world. So I enjoyed it. I mean, Alex's goal was great, and I can watch that every day for the rest of my life. Sam Mewis's goal was terrible goalkeeping. Which is always fun to watch when you're for the other team. Yeah, I enjoyed the first half, though.
All right. I guess I can touch on a few thoughts from stuff that you said. Kling, yeah, that's the thing. I think a lot of people that watch this show might think that we dislike her, think she's a bad player. Not a bad player, just an average player, in my opinion. That's just me talking. I don't know how the rest of you feel. I just feel that she's a good player. Not as FIFA 11, as I'll keep throwing that out there, but she's an average, she's a good player, but it's like sometimes I just feel like maybe you can plug someone else in that position over there that might not lose the ball as much, especially on the back line. That's a dangerous area. You're losing your ball and stuff, but that's just my opinion. Maybe some people love her. So, and then with Mewis, yeah, I kind of feel the same way, Jen. I actually wanted to see her play a bit more in that position. I feel a bit, I guess, more comfortable with her. I don't know why. I guess I'm still writing off of like her NWSL season. Some people liked her, some people didn't. I felt like for a rookie season, it was pretty decent. You're going to have your ups and downs, and I feel like she has the potential to grow into a better player. So I guess I don't rate her highly. I think she's going to be a pretty decent player. So that's why it's one where I want to see her get more playing time with the team because I feel like she can fit that role right there. Let's go to you, Courtney. I guess second half, you want to jump into that and get us started on that?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing about Mewis is just that, like, I understand, like, some people were not impressed with her rookie season with the Flash, but, like, remember that she played for a Flash team that was a hot mess. Right. So keep that in mind, I guess, also while judging her rookie season for anyone who's like, man, she wasn't great in the NWSL. Well, stay tuned. Maybe hopefully things will be a little bit better. But, yeah, second half, I mean, I was surprised that we saw, like, all the subs so early because we just had not been seeing. Like, that's honestly what I would have liked to have seen, like, every game, I guess. And I know Danielle said, like, oh, you can't really complain about lack of chemistry when you want subs. Well, I mean, true, but I think you kind of can when, like, Ellis could and should have made those subs in the prior 2 games, too, and just didn't until, like, the 80th minute or something like that. So, but I was glad to see 2 things. I was glad to see her make subs early. However, I was kind of annoyed that the subs she made were, like, the starters that she had replaced to begin with. I think she could have had the opportunity to anyone, like, get someone else in there who maybe didn't have a lot of time or who hadn't been playing a lot. I know there's only so many players on the team, so, like, you can't do that with every position, but It was kind of like, great, Jill, you made a whole new lineup. You put all these new players. That's awesome. And then you, in the 60th minute, sub them with all of the starters who you put them in for.
Right.
Okay, great. So, I mean, it's fine. But I don't really, the second half I don't really think there was anything that stood out for me in the second half. And other people can correct me on that. I just remember being kind of like, okay, like, we're playing. Things are happening. Like, it's fine. I feel like things got a little bit more aggressive in the second half. There was some nasty challenges and tackles and weird, unpleasant things happening. Germany's goalkeeper, and I'm going to need her to, like, take a timeout because she, like, was pushing Carly Lloyd for no reason. Like, I don't want to say for no reason. Like, Carly probably should have been kicking at a ball that she had her hands on. However, like, wasn't dangerous. She didn't, like, go in to tackle her. She, like, poked at the ball. Like, probably not the greatest, like, life choice, but it didn't harm anyone. It didn't do any, like, damage to anyone. She didn't hurt anybody. And for that goalkeeper to get up and just, like, flat out shove her in the back, like, come on, let's calm down a little bit, please. But I definitely feel like I thought we would see maybe more Germany subs early on, because I definitely thought that in the second half they were wearing down a little bit. Like I said, the last maybe 10 minutes or so when they did have a lot of their subs on, I think were a little bit nervous for me, just because they were, like, with the fresh legs and everything like that, they were proving to be a little bit more dangerous, and it was kind of like, oh gosh, are they going to equalize, because they were playing a lot better. But I mean, I think it was just a good second half from the U.S., and that's really the only notes that I have, is that it got a little chippy, and, like, yay, kind of yay for making subs, but overall it wasn't, like, an overly exciting half, but, like, they got the job done, and they, you know, maintained their lead in one, so I guess that's a good thing.
Daniel, what were your thoughts on the substitutions?
I mean, like Courtney said, I was disappointed it was the starters that went on. I would have liked, obviously I wanted to see Heyo, but I would have liked to see Barnes get in there, Sonnet. I know I'm not the biggest Hinkle fan, but even put Hinkle in there, who hasn't started the whole thing. Just, other people. Again, probably Heyo and Barnes are the two that I would have liked to see the most. But, I mean, Jill's going to do what Jill does. It's the Ellis way, so.
Hashtag the Ellis way. There we go. All right, then, I guess, well, that's really that. I'll ask my little questions afterward, I guess, while we freestyle after we get through all these little, the structured questions, because I've typed little questions for us. I like to do that now because it's fun. Let's just go over our overall analysis, I guess we could do, of the game and then the tournament as well. So we'll start with you first, Jen. Overall analysis of the game, and then just your view of this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, kind of gonna piggyback off of what everybody else already said. It was interesting to see so many new players get put in there, and then all of a sudden just revert back to the starters. And I don't know if that's because Jealous had already seen how they played the rest of the tournament, and at that point just wanted to maintain the score instead of trying to, continue pushing forward and doing whatever, because with the newbies tend to be a little bit more, not necessarily newbies, but people who don't play as much have a tendency to be a little bit more aggressive and try to score the goals and try to move the ball forward, whereas the veterans are like, all right, great, well, we're up, let's just sit and not, we'll just hang out, we're winning. So I don't know if maybe that was her thought process behind that, instead of putting, like a Hinkle or a Sonnet or even a Heyo in. But something I did notice, I think she did this every game of the tournament. I can't, again, the partial coherence, I can't remember all of the other games right now. But I know she did it in at least one other one with the JJ sub, where it was like, what, the 91st minute or something? It was like, here you go, JJ, have fun. Like, really?
She did it with Engen too, I think, against France.
But yeah,
it was France.
Trolling and hard right there, man.
What? I don't know if she just wanted to, like, throw them in there just so they could say they played in the tournament. But okay.
I would say part of that I think is probably time wasting too. You're getting to the end of, like, stoppage time, and you're just like, okay, great, I'll make a sub and just try to, like, get this game ended. Thanks.
Oh, I'm sure that's part of it, which probably annoys me even more, actually.
Agreed.
Like, we're the world champions and we just won another cup. Like, we don't need to be time wasting. Stop it. So that annoys me even more. But For me, the whole tournament was kind of, it was a little bit of experimentation, but a little bit more of the same, which I kind of expected out of this tournament. I expected us to, kind of see where we were going into Rio, kind of maybe solidify some players in Jill Ellis's mind, maybe take some players out of Jill Ellis's mind, and I think this tournament maybe did that for her. The one thing I'm not sure this tournament did for her was help her decide who the backup keeper is going to be, because none of them got to play.
Right.
Other than that, I think she probably by this point now has her roster set for Rio. So I think this tournament was good for all of them in that regard. It gave the players a chance to showcase themselves a little bit more and earn their spots, and it gave her a chance to see who she wanted to take to Brazil. But other than that, I mean, Danielle said it was kind of like a bunch of glorified friendlies. So that's what it boils down to. Yeah, we won. Great, fantastic. We have another really awkward-looking trophy back on home soil. So, we come out at the end of the day with a win in the overall tournament, but I think it was better looking forward than it was as it is.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I think the big thing I was looking forward to is seeing if the trophy had a hashtag on it, and I really didn't get to see, so I'm very disappointed in that. Danielle, what were your thoughts on the game and then the tournament? Hashtag she believes. Hashtag the Ellis way.
She believes.
I mean, the game, it was a good game, and it was exciting. It was as advertised. I mean, when you get to play the second-ranked team in the world on home soil, it's always exciting. So, I mean, overall, it was a good game. I enjoyed the whole tournament as a whole. I think it was a great experience playing France, playing England, all that. And I like the idea of, we've complained so much, oh my gosh, we play all these low-ranked teams, how can we get good experience? I think it was great to get quality minutes in for these young players. So I'm excited that it's going to be happening in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they get better venues, because, I mean, we all saw the pitch last night, and I don't know, I haven't seen it on TV, but in Nashville, the field wasn't holding up very well either. So hopefully next year we can get a couple better venues as well, and maybe a better trophy.
Oh my god, that trophy's awful.
Like a tuning fork, and if you read the U.S. soccer article about it this morning, explaining it, it didn't explain anything. It was so weird. I don't get it.
So no one's happy about the trophy, it seems. And Courtney, overall thoughts on the game and the tournament?
I mean, people mostly said kind of my thoughts about the game, so I won't touch too much on it. But I mean, I think it was a good game. I think we always expect that. It was nice to see some new faces in the lineup. Obviously, the fact that the team played a little bit just disjointed just because of lack of chemistry in the new faces, and we're still able to win, I think spoke a lot for just the depth of the team and talent and things like that. So it's not much to say about the game, but I agree. The tournament as a whole is fun. Without opening another can of worms, we're gonna have it for 3 more years. That's great, at least. 3 more years of the Sheba leaves the dog tournament. But no. But that aside, I'm not even gonna go there again because I just accepted it. I get it. It's fine. I think it's great they're gonna have that again. I think it's great that we're gonna, at least at some point, even when we're not in a tournament year, like Olympic or World Cup year, that we're gonna be able to play quality teams on a yearly basis. So I think that's great. I agree. Hopefully, it seemed like this tournament was kind of thrown together, kind of randomly, just with some of the venues and
Yeah.
I know not everyone has cable, and I think people who have an issue with it being not on TV, but it'd be nice if they could get some just broadcast, because there are still ways that people don't have cable to watch other broadcasts and things like that. Some of them stream online at the same time, or Fox Sports, you can stream online or watch it on TV or things like that. I just think if we're gonna host a tournament with the top 4 teams, and it's kind of the top 4 or 5, 3, however, 3 of the 4 top 4 teams or whatever. I I think that streaming's fine because that's what people do now, but it would still be nice to just get some sort of, I guess, further attention to see it on a network somewhere also. But that's just, hopefully now that they are planning on doing this for the next several years, they'll be able to kind of plan a little bit better. And that grass I played on last night was just unacceptable all the way around. It was like a sandbox. So, but I think it's good that we kind of have that guarantee that, like, we're going to play. And it is an opportunity to see some of the younger players or newer players play. I just wish that Ellis would have rotated them into the prior 2 games as well and not have waited until the final. But either way, I think it was fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to watch. I would like to see, even if they don't get it on TV, I would like to see at least a stream of the other games as well, because it was really annoying to not be able to watch France and France, Germany, and England's other games. It was just really. If you're gonna host a tournament, don't just show the U.S. game. It's a 4-team tournament. Show the other games.
Right.
It's not like the World Cup. Even the World Cup is a bigger deal, but they're obviously because it's the World Cup. But show all the matches somehow. It's 4 teams. It's not that difficult to, especially if you're gonna stream it. Stream the other several games. It's fine, but. It was fun to watch, and I'm glad it's going to be a thing that happens for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, that's the thing. I guess I'm looking forward to the fact that it will be in the foreseeable future. We'll get to see it again because these were the top teams. But the thing is, like I said, there's got to be a way. They got to make sure next time it's on TV. There's no way you would have it in the men's game where you got your top teams not on TV, especially, like I said, it's only a couple of games. You can throw them on ESPN2 and FS2. I mean, you can throw them on a second network of a main network or something. It shouldn't have just ended up being streamed. That's just my opinion. I mean, even though it did have that feeling, Courtney, like you said, where it's kind of thrown together type of thing, but that's still, I mean, you got to find a way next time. And I know they will. They have to if you're going to have these top teams in there because you want to see, like I said, I would love to have got the chance to see other teams playing on TV too, turn on my TV and watch them and then watch the U.S. team. But other than that, I enjoyed the tournament. In face-off, as Jen Hayes put it, against just a bunch of tomato cans, or what did she call it? Yeah, tomato cans. Had me cracking up when she said that because I used to get sick of that. Like I said, I still say that to this day. I used to get so sick of us beating these teams or not playing any top opponents, and we'll play one good opponent, and then that's that. You don't see us play another good opponent until maybe the World Cup or a couple of years down the road. But I still miss Algarve, I won't lie, because people are telling me to come out there for that. But still, so I can get over it, and I guess these games are closer, so it'll make my traveling next time. Try to get to one, it'll be a bit easier. But other than that, yeah, it was a good tournament. It was fun, and next time maybe we'll get to see more keepers play, and maybe some new players can make a name for themselves, young players, and get opportunity in this tournament, because you'll always know to come around the next 3 years, so you can bring up a young player who's looking for a shot and see how they compete against some of the world's best. So that's that. Now it's question time. Question time. I have a question for each of you.
Oh my god! When did question time become a thing? What exactly?
No, it's just now. It's just
I'm
now.
scared.
It's just to fill up a few little extra minutes because it's it's something to do. Spotlights will have more than enough time to talk about stuff,
All right.
Okay, you don't sound too happy, so I'm asking you yours first, Courtney. See,
no, I
just
didn't.
There was
just no heads up of what was happening. We were being ambushed live on the YouTube stream.
Just winging it right now. I'm just going to ask you, Courtney. Actually, who stood out to you this tournament? What players stood out to you?
Oh man, I know I gave her a lot of shtick for some of the games, but I think the last she didn't. Well, I guess I'll kind of go. It's really hard because there weren't really. This is going to sound terrible. There weren't really a lot of people that stood out to me overall. No, but really though, I will say Alex Morgan had a really good tournament. She scored a bunch of goals. Well, a bunch. She scored some goals. And they were really nice goals that she scored. So I think that. And I'll give her credit for having just a really solid. She's been kind of having a rough couple years with injuries and not lack of production and things like that, but it was nice to see her come in and do a good job. I don't know, sometimes I would like to see Press start over her, and that's just my thought and opinion, but I mean, considering that Alex Morgan is not my favorite player in the whole world, she did a really good job, and I think it's nice to see her kind of get back in her groove a little bit. Mallory Pugh, oh God, how I forget, Mallory Pugh had a great tournament. I don't know how I didn't start with her, but she had a great tournament. I was kind of iffy, not really on the Pugh train that much, but I'm really on board now. She's just a very talented, awesome player. So Those are my top 2, I guess. I'm not, and then I'll get my 3. Hope Solo too. Normally we don't really have a lot to talk about with Hope Solo because she's generally just sitting there picking grass, but she actually had to make some saves, and the goal that Germany scored was kind of weird. I don't think she was expecting it, like Danielle said, and ready for it, but especially against France, she had to make some saves and some really great ones, and she did a really great job. So probably my top 3. People will agree or disagree, which is fine. But just seeing that we didn't have any time to prepare for this, just off the top of my head, I'll give it to those 3.
I'm sorry. Next time I'll give you guys.
It's fine.
I'm trying stuff out as we go. I'm sorry.
No, I like it. We'll be your guinea pigs. It's all good.
Giancarlo, yours is just a real quick one. Next time when we have a She Believes tournament, would you want more experimentation from Jill Ellis, or is that just not the Ellis way?
That is absolutely the Ellis way. Yeah, no, yes. Especially because next time around we won't have an Olympic tournament, right around the corner. Like, she could have easily experimented all of CONCACAF, which she kind of sort of did a little bit. So it'll be probably just the She Believes Cup and a whole bunch of friendlies. And I hope to see some experimentation through all of that. But our friendlies are normally up against, as Jen Hayes would say, tomato cans. So, it's nice to get that experimentation against, your number, 3 and 5 teams. So that's a big deal. The fact that we saw Mallory Pugh get out there and not crumble under pressure going up against these major teams. We could see where Mewis fit in as opposed to Haran with, higher end opponents. Things like that, you don't necessarily always get that in friendlies. And even though it was, again, a glorified friendly, there was still a little bit of pressure on this. It was still, hey, we're playing a cup, we're playing in front of our fans. I think the experimentation against higher level opponents like that, when there's still minimal pressure, is huge to figure out really who's going to make it and who's not.
Thank you. Sounds good. And I guess we'll ask Miss Blue Crew, Danielle. Mm-hmm. Do you think this is the end for Hayo? The last time we'll see her?
Worst question. That's the best and worst question to ask her too, because
that's my girl.
That's brutal, DJ.
Right, I know. That's why I had to ask her that one.
I don't know. My head says yes, my heart says no. It's frustrating. I have to look at it from 2 different ways. I've said it on the show before. I can't. A year ago I was complaining because somebody in their 30s would not bow out, blah, 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 and she's getting older. On the other end, she's probably the best physical shape of her life. She's best physical shape of her life. She's one of the most fit on the team. She's a winner. Anytime she puts her mind to something, she wins. Look at not just the NWSL, but every league she's ever played in, all of the Olympics. She's a great player, so I hope not, because I think she still has a couple years to contribute. Mm-hmm. But we've seen it for the past year, so unfortunately I fear it might be a yes.
All right, thank you. Oh, I got it out of her. She said yes, unfortunately. Hey,
whoa.
Favorite player. No, I'm joking.
It was way more
Don't twist her words, dude.
This isn't Fox News. What are you doing?
Oh, Jen went there.
Taking things out of context.
No, actually, because I'm a big KO fan, so I hated to hear that. But, well, this is Fox News signing out. This is that's everything. What's that? The little questions or whatever. Good. I had to practice.
Yeah, that was great.
I'm gonna have to ask questions to supporters during the spotlights, which you should check out. See, there we go, connected too. So that's why I had to do that. Actually, I needed practice. So it worked.
Is my spotlight gonna be all like that? Because if so, I do not want to be on it anymore.
No, I think it will stick to script. Actually, okay. Stick to script. We won't ask any questions. It'll be all friendly. The spotlights are supposed to be all cuddly and stuff. They're supposed to be about us loving the team,
He's not gonna ask the real brutal DJ hardcore questions and scare off the supporters during the spotlight.
Softball.
No, yeah. During the spotlights, I don't do that. But now it's like, I thought if I tried this out to see how it would work. So I don't know.
He's okay with antagonizing us, though, but
Yeah. It's fine.
All right. So that was another episode of Off the Post. I think that's everything, and everyone hates me on this panel at this time.
that's
So
not true.
just messing guys. No, it was fun actually. I mean, it was a good tournament. We all had a good time. So just check out for the spotlights, and then other than that, we'll probably put out we'll send out our normal stuff on social media and stuff, so you guys check that out. And other than that, I think we're good to go. Cause I'm trying to think of anything else. But do you guys have anything? No.
No, I'm waving. I'm already done. Bye.
Okay, that wave is up. Yep, throw those hands up, and we'll wave, and we'll see you guys
Bye.
Sunday at 6:30. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.